Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Alex Lucifero. I am an employment lawyer and managing partner of Samfiru Tumarkin's Ottawa office. We are the employment lawyers in Canada with offices in Toronto, Calgary, Vancouver. I wanted to join the live stream this afternoon. We're Thursday, May 13th today, just because I heard some news earlier today, and you might have as well, with respect to Greyhound Canada closing and ceasing its operations here in Canada, and wanted to have a little bit of a chat and hopefully provide some guidance and provide some advice to those Greyhound employees, whether they're actual bus drivers or administrative staff, managers, what may be. Wanted to provide some guidance and some advice to those employees who are hearing this news in real time, that their employment is likely either has come to an end or is coming to an end soon. Those employees are going to want to know about what rights, what protections they have in losing their jobs. And so, this is general information with respect to severance, with respect to termination of employment, but I also wanted to specifically gear it to those Greyhound Canada employees who are, again, just this afternoon finding out that they're not going to be having jobs moving forward. And obviously that's a very, very difficult, very difficult news to hear. And hopefully I can provide some solace, some kind of guidance to those employees that are obviously having a difficult time. So the first comment I wanted to make is some of these Greyhound employees, and I think specifically the bus drivers, but potentially other employees as well. Some of these employees are going to be unionized employees. They're going to be part of a union and bound by collective agreement. And for those specific employees, their termination entitlements, their rights upon termination of their employment, is going to be governed by the collective agreement. It's going to be governed effectively by the deal that was struck between the union and Greyhound Canada and the company, and their severance entitlements will flow from that agreement, from that collective agreement between them. And unfortunately, as employment lawyers, whether it's us or anyone else for that matter, we are not going to be able to assist those employees. They are governed strictly by the union and, again, strictly by the collective agreement. Now, having said that, for those employees that are non-unionized, and there are going to be plenty within Greyhound Canada, whether they are office workers or managers or lots of other employees for that matter, for these non-unionized private sector employees, their severance entitlements are going to be substantial, despite the fact that Greyhound Canada is ceasing operations. And that's the second point that I wanted to make here, which is that we are not talking here about a bankruptcy or about a company going into receivership. Greyhound Canada has decided to cease operations. They're effectively closing the business in layman's terms. And that does not, and I repeat, it does absolutely not impact an employee's severance entitlements. Again, we're talking about non-unionized employees here. Those employees, despite the fact that the company's shut down, those employees are still owed their regular severance packages based upon their age, their position with the company, and their years of service with the company. The fact that the company is closing down, the fact that the business has been impacted by COVID, does not affect those employees' severance entitlements. It's a crucial point to make, because there is a lot of information, or misinformation rather, out there. Employees may incorrectly assume that their severance entitlements should be less because the company is closing. And that is absolutely not the case. Again, an employee's severance entitlements don't change if a company ceases operation. They do change if a company is claiming bankruptcy. So if a company is effectively out of money, if they're going bankrupt, and they've filed for bankruptcy or for what's called receivership, that is a problem for employees. And employees' severance entitlements will be affected in a case like that. From our understanding and from the news that's come out this afternoon, that is not the case with Greyhound Canada. They simply decided to cease operations. And again, that means that an employee's severance entitlements are not affected. Non-unionized employees of Greyhound Canada should be receiving their full severance entitlements, not their minimum entitlements, not some sort of lesser amount. their full severance entitlements based upon their age, position, and years of service. Crucial information for those employees who are being let go. They are likely being handed termination letters. That's likely, in a termination meeting in which it'll be explained to them that the company is ceasing operations. They may feel some pressure because of the circumstances to accept whatever severance offer the company is making. They may even feel as though they have no choice but to sign on that severance offer, and perhaps feel pressured by a deadline that they're given by the company. That shouldn't be the case at all. As an employee who's been let go from a job, even in a situation like this, you should certainly take the time to consider a severance offer, to speak with an employment lawyer about that severance offer. What we see time and time again, and I speak with employees every single day that have been let go and have been offered severance packages, and almost always an employee is offered far less than what their full severance entitlements actually are. And so you need that advice. You need to seek counsel, to seek professional assistance from an employment lawyer before you accept any kind of severance offer. So again, a few main points here for those employees who are being let go, who are Greyhound Canada employees and are just seeing the news today that the company is ceasing operations. If you're a unionized employee, speak to your union. Your termination entitlements, the termination and severance pay that you're owed, is going to be governed by your collective agreement. And there's likely little you can do as a unionized employee to impact what you are owed. It's written in black and white in the collective agreement. However, for non-unionized employees, your severance entitlements aren't affected by the company ceasing operations. You are owed your full severance entitlements based on age, position, and years of service, and it's likely going to be significantly more than what the company is offering you. So make sure you get advice. If you're looking at a termination offer, you need to speak with an employment lawyer. You can certainly reach our firm. You can send us a quick email at help@employmentlawyer.ca. Give us a quick summary of your situation, and someone will get back to you as quickly as possible. You can also reach us online at employmentlawyer.ca. That is our website. There are lots of resources there. There's certainly contact information there. And you should be reaching out to us before you ultimately decide what you want to do with your severance offer. I'll take a quick second to answer a question here that's just come up from Marina here. Marina, you have 2 years on disability. Will your employer fire you? What will they pay me as severance? Marina, if you've been on disability leave for 2 years, it's not necessarily the case that your employer should be letting you go. An employee can be on leave for perhaps 3, 4, even 5 or 6 years. As long as there's a chance, Marina, that you would be able to return to work one day, your employer should be keeping your position available to you. And the length of the leave doesn't necessarily factor in. Again, as long as there's a chance you'll be returning to work at some point in the future. However, if it's the case, Marina, if you've been off for 2 years and you are effectively permanently disabled and there's no chance you'll ever be able to return back to work, the employer may be able in that circumstance to end your employment, and you would be owed your severance entitlements. It's what we call a frustration of contract situation, meaning it's not the employer's decision to let you go, nor is it your decision, but by virtue of your permanent disability, the employment relationship is simply no longer able to continue. And in a case like that, you are owed severance entitlements, although it's not your full severance entitlements, it's your minimum entitlements under the Employment Standards Act, at least in Ontario. I'm not sure where where you reside, Marina, but that should give you a sense of the situation. If there's a chance you'll be able to return back to work, your employer should know that, and they would have to hold your job, even though it's been 2 years. One more question, guys, if I may. Abigail asks, you worked for a company for 26 years and they sold the business, no severance. Thank you very much. My name is Jacqueline. Jacqueline, if you were employed with the company for 26 years and the business was sold and you were not hired on by the purchasing company, meaning if your employment ended with the sale of the business, that is a termination. You are owed severance in a situation like that. And I could almost guarantee your severance is going to be based on your age, your position, and your years of service. So, Jacqueline, you definitely need to get legal advice in a situation like that. Please reach out to us. We can certainly set up a time to chat, and I can certainly walk you through the legal analysis and go into a little bit more detail about your situation. I will leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. I did want to chat about the Greyhound Canada situation. I hope that this quick video gives some preliminary guidance and some preliminary information that you can use to at least figure out the next few steps in your career. Again, if you have been let go by Greyhound Canada and you're a non-unionized employee, do not sign off on whatever severance offer has been presented to you. Take that information, make sure you speak with one of our employment lawyers, and we will be able to properly advise you on what your full severance entitlements are. Your severance is not going to be affected by the fact that the company is closing. You are still owed severance. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure. help@employmentlawyer.ca is the email address to reach us at. employmentlawyer.ca is the website. Do be in touch with any questions or concerns that you have. We try and respond to every single individual that contacts us. So do be in touch. Have a good afternoon, everyone.